I like Aliens. What's going on, everyone? It's the True Gardener back again.
And this week we're looking at chrysanthemums, who actually plays left wing for Hull. Chris,
Those are some lovely flowers you've got on your over your left shoulder
I'm actually
there.
trapped in Roy Hodgson's house, so he just keeps telling me 4-4-2 is the way forward, and I'm bringing Paul Konchesky in, and I'm like, Roy, stop.
I'll never forget the first Wembley Cup we did, where I literally had to introduce like a VT of Roy Hodgson wishing all the lads good luck. And it was the most boring thing I've ever seen in my entire. And I was like, oh, that'll get them up for the game.
Yeah.
Huh? England manager at the time. Jesus Christ.
He is inspirational England manager. Yeah. Roy. To be fair, #United play similar football to what Roy would like. So.
Yeah, I've seen the latest Next Level Football episode.
It was a good episode, actually.
You lads are doing all right, aren't you?
Oh, we're doing all right. Yeah, we're doing very well. Yeah.
Should we do the predictions for the weekend? Get this over with.
Yeah, I'll put the offers up on the screen for you guys so you can see what's there over the weekend. We've got some good offers this weekend, but join us 2:30 for the kickoff.
Newcastle actually are like 33-1, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. That's awesome.
There's a great offer. There's some good offers this weekend, so join us there. I'll put them up on the screen, and they'll be in the link in the description below. So take a look.
You sound so quiet compared to normal.
Right, okay.
You actually sound like you actually are trapped in like someone's house right now, and you're like, hopefully they don't hear me record this video.
They have no idea what's going on. It's all right, Roy. No, go back to bed, Roy.
Can you imagine you and Roy Hodgson like living together as like?
No, that really would be a funny show.
That'll be like Peep Show. I've been watching a lot of Peep Show lately.
Why?
It's fucking great.
It is. It's the awkwardness of Peep Show that I quite enjoy.
Sometimes it really reminds me of what me and you would be like if we had to like live together and that.
Which one would you be?
I'd definitely be Jez.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I'm Mark.
You are a little bit more like Mark than I am, though.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. But he's just a good guy. I'm sorry, I'm just emptying the roses on the table. So.
God, why are you having? What's your favourite chocolate rose?
I've eaten the good ones. So I'm just left with stuff like this at the end.
Are you one of those? Are you?
Yeah.
Rattle through the good ones and leave the shite for everyone else.
Roy and I just had a little sherry and some roses last night. It was a lovely evening. We really enjoyed ourselves.
I literally want to have like a Photoshop thumbnail now of you and Roy
with a sherry. Sorry, Roy.
Maybe you're like sitting in his lap or something, you know.
Cheers. Here's to you, Roy. Anyway, there's some good games this weekend, and it starts.
Actually, the 3 o'clocks are good.
Well, the 3 o'clocks are great.
We're covering them.
Yeah, so 2:30 the kickoff
on the kickoff
Saturday. Join us there. We'd love to have you. But before that, there's actually a really good game as well. It's a London derby. It's West Ham versus Spurs, and West Ham are at home. So this is actually an exciting one. I almost give Spurs a better chance of winning at West Ham than I do at Wembley right now.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, say no more. Go. That's enough. Enough said.
West Ham have defeated Tottenham 14 times in the league, their highest tally of wins against a single opponent. And that then goes the opposite way to what we're thinking. But I just don't feel like West Ham... Well, obviously all the confidence they've built up must be great, but Spurs go away from home. Everyone
is Joe Hart still starting for West Ham?
Sure.
You've got to think, with how many shots Harry Kane takes per game, he's going to score at least 2 in this match, at least.
He scored 5 in his last 5 appearances against West Ham.
Yeah, I'm going to say Harry Kane gets 2 in this game.
Wow. I'm going to say Spurs to win, but definitely get on with Harry Kane scoring, because it just makes sense, doesn't it?
3, I'm going to say 3-0. 3-0 Spurs.
I reckon West Ham will score. I'm going to go 2-1.
I think this might have been a mistake to do this outside. I think it's going to rain soon.
If only you had a conservatory like your fancy neighbours.
Yeah, posh bastards.
You know what? West Ham started the season with 3 losses in a row. Just saying. And now they've got a win and a draw. Back to the losses soon. Burnley play Huddersfield at 3 o'clock. That's going to be...
Did you give a prediction for that one?
Yeah, 2-1.
All right, carry on. Burnley
play Huddersfield at Turf Moor. Now, this will be the first top-flight meeting between these two clubs since 1971.
1-1.
You're not interested. Do you think Huddersfield are already dropping away?
Well, I mean, it was impossible for them to keep up what they're doing, but I think they're going to keep grinding out some decent results in that. But it's just one of them where Burnley, they looked okay in the last match. Didn't they draw? Mm-hmm. Was it against Hughes? Mm-hmm. And they could have won that game, to be fair. And Burnley do tend to drop off against the smaller teams at times. So, like, they seem to raise their game for the big man. Oh, fucking hell, I don't know. I'm going to say 1-1.
Well, I'm going to say this. Burnley have won the same number of Premier League home games as Manchester United and one less than Man City since August 2016, making Burnley feel more like a fortress.
Fucking hell. That is impressive.
All right.
What 1-1? I'm sticking with it.
Still impressive. 1-1. I'm going to go...
1-1.
I'm going to go 1-0 Burnley. I think Huddersfield will... they'll fail to score in that game. I feel a little sorry for them right now. Let's move on to Goodison Park. Now, this one's not a big game because it involves Everton and Bournemouth. Everton have won all 4 of their previous competitive home games against Bournemouth. 2 Premier League games, 1 FA Cup and 1 League Cup match.
Yeah, I mean, Everton actually, before it all capitulated, they looked all right against Man United. Mm-hmm. And they're due a win because, obviously, they look like shit against Spurs. And then they lost against Man United, but they look okay. So they're gradually getting better. They're getting beat by 4 and 3-0, still shit. But I've got to say they're going to win this one. They're going to turn it around at some point.
Well, they're definitely out of form. They've lost 3 in a row. So, like you say, it's tricky. And Bournemouth only...
What goes down must come up.
Yeah, just like Bournemouth proved with 4 losses in a row and then 1 win last week. So...
The thing about Everton is they're just so slow when they move the ball into the final third. Like, between Sigurdsson and Rooney, there's just no pace. Like, they're really missing Balassi and Barkley. So, but I've got to think that they're going to have enough to beat Bournemouth. Is it at Goodison?
It's at Goodison Park. This one's in Liverpool. And the Scouser himself, Wayne Rooney, has had his hand in 3 goals. That's 2 goals and 1 assist in 3 Premier League appearances against Bournemouth.
All right, I'm going to say 2-1 Everton. I think Bournemouth are a decent side and they put up a fight, though.
I think it's going to be 1-1 at Goodison Park. I think Bournemouth will get away with some points here. I think this is the kind of match that they have to win, considering the form that Everton have been in.
Okay.
Fair enough. Man City versus Crystal Palace. Now, this is the first of Roy's big 3. He was telling me over breakfast today, he said, Lawrence, I'm worried. And I said, boy, don't worry, it's all right.
I'm worried. Oh, he's such a prat, isn't he? I'll tell you what, though, you've got to... We try again.
He said, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough.
He literally has taken over at the worst possible time.
I know. But he'll get getting paid a lot.
Success. Yeah, I expect City to run through Crystal Palace with the way they've been defending.
Yeah, and that's because City have lost just 1 of their last 24 Premier League matches at the Etihad. They've drawn 9 and won 14.
But right now, this season, they look at next level. Like, so many good players, man. It's a joke. And they're just clicking so well. Palace cannot stop them. There's no way. I'll be shocked if Palace even get a draw. Like, shocked.
Now, City don't...
I'm going to say City will score 4, yeah. Maybe 4-1, yeah. 4-1.
I think it's going to be a little bit tighter than that. I think it's going to be 3, but once the floodgates open, then they will be open.
Well, okay. So it's 3 what?
1.
All right, then. Next game.
Because the interesting side as well is Crystal Palace have actually got quite a high XG, and they've they've not scored as many as they should have. And at the same time, of the players that have scored 10 plus goals in the Premier League history for Man City, their current strike force has got the best minutes to goal ratio. That's Gabriel Jesus and Sergio Aguero. So there's going to be goals.
This is the first time we've seen a big club in a long time play two up top and like have two proper strikers.
Yeah, although they rotate with each other quite well and attack from the angle.
Oh no, it's not the old style, but it's still two strikers, and I like that. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's quite it's nice to watch, and I think also both of those players bring the midfield in quite well because they're both willing to drop deep and play with that player. I think there's something quite satisfying about that.
Yeah, between De Bruyne, Sané, and Silva, and people like that, and the overlapping fullbacks, it's really hard to stop City.
It also must be difficult because I think the Crystal Palace players will expect to lose these 3 games, and they may even expect to lose 4 because they're going to come up against Rafa after that. So it's tricky for them right now.
Yeah, good old Rafa.
Yeah, we can do it, boys. We can't, but we'll try for you, Roy. Southampton versus Manchester United. This one is another 3 o'clock game we'll be covering on Saturday. This one's at St Mary's. Oh, yeah. There he is. Look at him, big and powerful. Southampton have lost 24 Premier League games against United.
Jesus.
4 more defeats than they have suffered against any other opponent. Is it raining?
No, it's alright.
Okay.
It's fine. It's treble cush, mate. Yeah, Man United. How did you think they looked in the last game?
You know what? Way more in control than I think we give them credit for, and I think a lot of people don't really realise or acknowledge how Mourinho wants to play. So I think they controlled pretty much the entire game. And even if Everton had scored, I still think Manchester United would have gone on to win that one quite comfortably.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, more and more, like under Van Gaal, it was pretty boring, and in the final third, they just didn't have the balls to go for it. Yeah. Whereas with Mourinho, a lot of these games are turning into shooting practice. Like it's just a wave after wave after wave of attack. Yeah. And a lot of people said a lot of Man United fans I know, some YouTube Man United fans said Mourinho was boring football and this, that, and the other. I think Man United have been better. I think this Man United side now would whip the fuck out of the season Fergie left. I think they would piss it again because that was people don't realise because they won the title. That was a poor side really compared to the teams in the top 4 now. In my opinion, I think the last game they conceded 5 goals. I think this Man United side would smash the last Man United side under Fergie.
Well, I mean they've had a lot of investment since then, a lot of reshaping. And the weird thing is there's actually a few players that still exist from that team. There's still De Gea in there. There's still Phil Jones in there. There's still people,
Valencia,
Chris Smalling and Ashley Young. So it's not as if it's a completely new side, but ahead of that, they've definitely bought. And one of them is Romelu Lukaku, and 12 of Romelu Lukaku's 22 Premier League goals have been scored in the in obviously this recently have been scored in the 80th minute or later. So he's basically a late game bloomer.
Actually, I don't think it's a case of he's a late game bloomer, although I know you're just saying that as a phrase. I think he's good at all times, but the thing is, in the last 10 minutes, a lot of people switch off.
Yeah.
Lukaku, when he got that free kick the other day, hits it off the wall, it doesn't work for him, and everyone sort of relaxes and gives up, and he doesn't, and he just keeps going. He's waiting at the back post, the ball comes across goal, taps it in, and I'm like, you just literally are hungry, you just will not give up, and I respect that because so many strikers and footballers generally they've got a lazy attitude.
I feel like Ruud van Nistelrooy has had a word. Get close to the goal, get close to the goal. Because it's difficult. It's difficult to score goals in a tight space, and I think there are very few top strikers who have got the record of Lukaku right now.
And another thing is, at Everton he had to do so many jobs, whereas this one it's just literally be selfish, hit it on target,
and also try and bring everyone else into play along the way.
Yeah, I'm going to say Man United win this one 2-0.
2-0. I think. 1 goal in the first half, 1 goal in the second half is my prediction.
What about Southampton? I know we haven't talked about Southampton, but one thing I would say is, they've been keeping Van Dijk under wraps because of the whole transfer saga.
But he played last week and he looked all right.
Yeah, well, they brought him on, but against Man United, you need your best players, and I don't care if they're pissed off at him or emotions or whatever. You need him against Lukaku desperately.
And you also need Lamina to have another good game. But I think that again, Lamina's going to be overrun in that midfield. He looked great last week, but it's still going to be tricky against
it's so frustrating.
Pogba's out though, so
I'm just like, why? So many times, why didn't we go for him? Do you know what I mean? He looks class.
He looks great, and he'll look fantastic in a Liverpool shirt. So Stoke City versus Chelsea, another 3:00 game, another big team playing, and Chelsea. And Stoke have suffered 13 Premier League defeats against Chelsea in the Premier League, more than they have against any other opponent. Does this mean that Mark Hughes is yet again going to be condemned to a handshakeless loss?
Yeah, I mean, it's at Stoke though.
The stadium, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Chelsea, they weren't very good against Arsenal. I mean, I know Arsenal defended well, and credit where it's due, but like Chelsea didn't really click in the final third at all. The decision making was poor in that game.
And
Hazard came on,
yeah.
So if he starts this game, that could be a different thing altogether, a different beast in it with him. But yeah, Stoke are a team that raises their game for the big matches. Like against Newcastle, they had the odd chance, but I thought we were definitely the better side, even though they had good possession.
I enjoy Choupo-Moting and what he's bringing into the rest of the team, and I think he's combining well with other people.
Against Man United, he had a really good game, got the 2 goals, and you can tell when Stoke are really up for it, they can raise that game. So if they're really up for this, they could get a point out of it, or maybe even 3, but Chelsea are they good at the tough tackling side of the game? That
it's funny you say that.
They're not soft.
No, but it's funny you say that because actually this season Chelsea have committed a league high 68 fouls in the Premier League after just 5 matches. That's over 10. That's almost 11, 12 fouls a game.
But yeah, because it's like when Stoke do their type of game against an Arsenal or someone like that, they can bully them. But Chelsea, they've always had like Ivanovic, Terry, big, strong players who will not be pushed around. So I can see why.
Damn it.
I can see why with that side of the game and this extra skill that the Chelsea have got, why they have a good record against Stoke. Yeah. So I'm going to expect that to continue. But they don't have David Luiz, which is a big blow.
And of course, Mark Hughes is also facing his old team here.
Yeah, it's that stuff. Do you know what it is? Fuck it. I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to say.
Wow.
Maybe 2-2, 1-1, 2. What are you going to say?
That neck's on the line, isn't it? I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. I reckon they're going to pull this one out of the bag, but they will have a scare because Shaqiri will score one of those wonder goals.
Yeah, he did against Newcastle. It was just when he gets that, he takes that touch and then whips it at goal. He's always got a good strike.
It's such an old-fashioned strike. He looks like such an old-fashioned player as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got right thunder thighs.
Small and barrelish and sort of powerful, and I think he must be quite intimidating to play against.
I wouldn't go that far. 1-1.
I'll go 2-1 Chelsea. Now let's move on to another 3:00 kickoff. This one will actually be quite a good game, I think, but we won't be monitoring it too closely from a distance, not being able to watch it. Swansea-Watford, 3:00 Saturday. Swansea have lost just 1 of their last 10 home games. 10 home meetings with Watford.
Did you see the football hangover?
Of course, we all saw the football hangover.
I know you've probably been busy, but
I like the bit about Rio most. That was good.
Did you see the Man City review where I did all the Elton John songs?
How did you write that? Was that something that just came off the top of your head, or?
No, I genuinely I thought of it, and then I watched Match of the Day, and I was like, "Fucking hell, Lineker has nicked me." Fucking, I guess that's why they call them the Blues. But there was a point where, because of your hashtag respect the dead,
Elton John's still very much alive.
When I said being blown out, like a candle in the wind, and it took me about 5 times to get that out without laughing me cunt off, purely because of hashtag dead in a tunnel. No,
hashtag Mercedes. I just couldn't.
I thought Elton fucking John.
Poor
Elton John. What a guy.
Well, he's going to be watching his favourite team this weekend, Watford.
The circle of life, innit?
He did indeed write the soundtrack.
Have you seen the Tottenham Hotspurs one that's going out on Twitter right now?
No.
So obviously we all remember you just got caned. Yeah. You just got. I mean, that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That song made Arsenal fan TV look like Oscar worthy, to be honest with you, because it was terrible. But there's some Spurs fans, like they're literally outside of the ground,
yeah,
and it's like da 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 da, and then it's like Wanyama, Victor Wanyama, Dembele, Musa, and then it's basically they start singing the Circle of Life for some reason.
Lovely. That's a lovely idea.
It's bizarre.
It's also
it's awful.
Spurs fans, the most creative on the internet. There's a lot of people right now doing songs where they fit the players' names in.
Mick Hucknall's a famous big Spurs fan.
He is.
Actually, he's a Man United fan, isn't he?
Watford have used 22 different players already this season, a total that only Liverpool can match in 2016-17. They've also used the most players in the Premier League.
I've noticed Troy Deeney's not getting the game anymore, which is a bit annoying. Because I'm like, if he was going to sit on the bench, we should have went in for him. He's a really decent player.
Yeah, and I think Rafa would have appreciated a bit of that presence.
Yeah, big beast, isn't he?
Yeah. Although it's not really Rafa's style, and I don't think he rates Deeney because of his... I think Deeney is very much confident at the moment at Watford. I think if he went somewhere else, it would certainly be tricky. He'd have had to have gone somewhere like Watford or Sunderland. Burnley would be great, yeah. Yeah. What are you going for this one?
Who's playing again? Watford who?
Swansea Watford. Don't tell me he doesn't put the effort in, guy.
I'm going to go 1-0 Watford.
Okay. I'm going to go 2-0 Watford.
Yeah.
So, Swansea have attempted fewer shots, that's 30, than Spurs striker Harry Kane in the Premier League this season, scoring the same number of goals as Harry Kane.
To be fair, Harry Kane is just a beast, though, isn't he? So it's, yeah.
He loves bad goals. That's his problem. Leicester-Liverpool. Now this one's exciting. Leicester beat Liverpool earlier in the week, and Liverpool will again face the same fixture, but Liverpool will rotate a lot of players back in. So Liverpool will be facing a very different kind of challenge when they head to the King Power yet again. What do you think about this one?
Well, I'm assuming you watched the game because I haven't watched the game yet. I mean, Liverpool just defensively have been fucking shit this season.
It was another instance of Liverpool marauding forward, looking great, and not making the most of their chances.
And then switching off at the back. Correct,
yeah. But then they didn't. It's not even switching off at the back. It's just more. It was Gomez and Clavan who played at the back, and that's not the ideal pairing.
All right. Well, that goal. Well, to be fair, you had your first string out on against Burnley. That goal that Arfield scored was fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, that really reminded me of like Alan Pardew's Newcastle days, where you'd laugh it was that comedy. And it's just happening all too often with Liverpool, where the concentration goes. So, but you know, I don't know what type of team they had out against Leicester, but you'd have to think they're going to. All right. What do you got to say about it, mate? I'm a bit clueless on this one because sometimes it's hard when you have a win before, because it's almost like you've showed your hand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. The German manager, being Jurgen Klopp, has lost twice in the Premier League against Leicester. If Liverpool lose this game, the Foxes will be the first team to beat Jurgen Klopp 3 times in the league. And I mean, you know, they're sort of like a Liverpool bogey team under Klopp, but. I'm going to go for a Liverpool win in this one. I think he's. Well,
you know why that is, because they're a counter-attacking side, and that is the perfect way to beat Klopp, isn't it? Really.
Well, also, but when Liverpool are up against it, then they tend to come good. Of course, except for the European final.
They've looked pretty shit lately. So I'll give you the wasp flying around us. Yeah.
What about the logic of their due a win?
2-1. Let's go for that then.
Liverpool.
Just to Liverpool.
Okay, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. No Sadio Mane right now, which is obviously frustrating for Liverpool fans. But Jamie Vardy's
he is massive.
Jamie Vardy's in good form. He's had 15 goals in 18 Premier League appearances under Craig Shakespeare. So it looks as if it wasn't just the inspiration of Ranieri that was getting him to score. He's looked good since.
He's a fucking decent player. Like the thing is with Vardy, he's not just a finisher. He defends from the front, and the press is really important when you have someone like him in. And just pace. I really miss pacey strikers at Newcastle. Like Hossalu's doing a decent job. He's all right, but like when you get a ball and no one can catch you the way like you've got with Liverpool, Mane and Salah. I mean, sometimes pace just kills the game, and that's what I'd love to have at Newcastle. Someone like that.
Well, let's talk about Newcastle. They go away to Brighton on the Sunday, 4:00 kickoff. This one. This will be the 15th league meeting between the two clubs, but the first in the top flight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how it's going to go because we were really closely paired up at the top of the Championship last season. The games were very tight. They definitely need a win more than we do. But we've got a lot of knowledge about them. And I'm hoping Rafa can use that and just say, I don't know. I'm going to say we win, you know. Imagine that, 4 wins in a row. That'd be mad.
Yeah, 4 wins in a row after 2 losses. It certainly would be an impressive form record for you guys. It's the kind of thing that Rafa does, though. He can put 10 wins together back to back. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah,
I'm going to say 1-0 to Newcastle.
Interesting. And I think it's going to be Jamal Lascelles that gets the goal. He scored.
Maybe we need to just stick him up front.
He scored in his 2 last Premier League matches, and the only defender to score for Newcastle 3 games in a row before that was
Philip Albert.
Stephen Taylor in May 2011. And I know how much you love him on your career mode.
Do you know what it is? I'm thinking about bringing the career mode back.
You need to bring the career mode back. It's going to be great. I'm going to the FIFA 18 event later today. I've
noticed all the FIFA 18 YouTubers, like you know the ones who don't do anything other than FIFA. Like I don't like not like Spencer because he's got so much on the other things, but there's some people who just do FIFA, and you can tell
they know the gigs up.
To before the end of FIFA 17, the views started dwindling into like 30. Like you got people on 1 million subscribers getting like 30,000 views on a video, and like now you can tell they're like, yay, I can pay the bills again. Thanks, FIFA 18's coming out.
That is awesome.
But the thing is, I don't know, like FIFA content, it's fun in that, but like I think the bubble burst a couple of years ago, to be honest, and people are just trying to ride out the gravy train for a bit longer. But I might make a series purely because I enjoy making them, not for the views or anything like that. You know what I mean? No, I like the whole challenge of like, because I'm not great at FIFA, but you know, getting to be a manager of Newcastle and that, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with us being in the Premier League, it sort of got an added bonus because, God, I hated the Championship. And the strip last season looked awful.
The strip wasn't great. Do you ever watch Match of the Day and think, I really want to play FIFA now? Like, it gets you think, I do that differently, I do that differently.
Yeah.
It's exciting, isn't
it? It is,
Yeah. You don't look as excited as I do.
No, maybe we think, ask people in the comments below. I mean, if you can be bothered to make a comment on the video.
Nice. One thing that is maybe a point of pride for Newcastle this season.
Is there a way me and Lawrence can make a series on FIFA? Like, what kind of series could we make?
I could just sort of help from a distance. Why don't you just Skype me and I'll watch you play and just sort of go,
all right,
come on, you can do it.
All right, my laptop's dying. Okay. Can we wrap this up?
There's a real point of pride. There's a real point of pride for Newcastle, though, in the Premier League. They have got the youngest starting 11 on average this season in the Premier League, 25 years old and 208 days. That's good for Rafa. That's good for Newcastle as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Final game of the weekend.
1-0 Newcastle.
Great.
What's your prediction?
2-0 Newcastle. Atsu and Lascelles. Of course, Atsu's going to score.
You love that.
The final game of the weekend is Arsenal and West Brom, and this one is the 8 o'clock on Monday night. Arsenal have won each of their last 6 Premier League games at the Emirates versus West Brom, conceding just 1 goal in those games. So whilst they might come across as a bogey team, they're not at the Emirates.
I'm going to say 3-0 Arsenal because they look like they tidied things up a lot against Chelsea. defensively, they looked so much better, and I think that that's going to put them in good stead against West Brom, who basically are going to try and do similar things that Chelsea were going to try and do. And going forward, they're going to find things a lot easier because obviously they're not playing Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Lacazette to grab a goal because I still really rate that lad. But he's just been a bit starved of service so far this season.
Well, Lacazette has scored in both of his Premier League appearances at the Emirates so far. No Arsenal player has scored in the opening 3 appearances at home in
he's going to do it.
The Premier League. He could be the first man to do it. West Brom have got terrible form just away from home in general. They've won just 5 of their 35 previous Premier League matches away from home. So it's going to be a tricky one. Join us this weekend to see how everyone's doing on Saturday.
What's your prediction, Lawrence?
I'm going to go 2... No, I don't even think they'll score. I think they'll go 3-0 Arsenal.
I said 3-0 Arsenal as well. So
okay.
All right. Both we're going 3-0 Arsenal. Don't forget to like this video and join us 2:30 Saturday live on the kickoff.
Not now, Roy.
Thanks,
Not
everyone.
Now, Roy.
See you later.